him with my alternate setup here today because Crowley is sleeping under the table I normally set up on, and he has priority. Like, I don't want to displace him or disturb him, so we're doing it from this angle today. In any case, I am fresh off of having read Heaven Official's Blessing Volume 3. I'm loving this series. But I will say I'm suffering for not having read them closer together. I don't typically like to read series all at once. I get a little bored. I need a little more variety than that. I think the Raven Boys series and maybe the Ripley books by Patricia Highsmith are the only series I can remember ever just sitting down and reading straight through. Most of the time, I'll read 1 or 2 books in a series, pause, read something else, change it up a little, go back. And obviously, if a series is ongoing, you're waiting between books anyway, but I'm just talking about completed series here. There are a lot of books in this series, Heaven Official's Blessing. This is the 3rd, and like, I did read the 2nd book at the beginning of this year, which is closer together than I read the 1st book like a year or so ago. And I really liked it, but then it took me a while to get my hands on the 2nd book. All this is to say, what happens is, like, you know, I need to remind myself who's who, what's going on, and especially since book 2 has, you know, a certain current storyline, and then at the end kind of shifts to a past story of how the main character, Xiang, how he was mortal and ascended for the first time. And so this book picks up in that past timeline where Xiang is newly ascended-ish, newly-ish. It's been about 3 years. His country that, you know, he's still close to, because these are still, his parents are king and queen of Xianlei, and he doesn't have the distance or the detachment. And so when he sees that his country, one region of his country called Yong'an, and I apologize again if I'm butchering the pronunciation, they're suffering a drought. The people from that region are kind of coming to the capital because it still has water and is still thriving more or less, although they do have less water. They're getting less water overall. So there's kind of this element of, there's some climate change issues, there's a refugee kind of storyline here, a country trying to deal with these things, which makes the book pretty timely in a way. And Xiang is like, he wants to help, and he keeps being told, well, you're ascended now, this isn't your job, you're a martial god, you're not here to take care of this kind of thing anyway, like, people will pray to you for martial things, not for, you know, whatever. And he's like a protective god, right? You get protection charms, you know, but he doesn't listen. He interferes anyway, and pays the price for that, and becomes, it kind of sets up how he goes from being this beloved, you know, god to being known as a god of misfortune, basically, because you know, everything goes south. In any case, the most of this book is that part, and then the 60% mark or so, we jump back to stuff that was happening in book 2, and it took me a moment to reorient and be like, oh yeah, okay, wait, who was this? What was going on? I can't remember. So it was a little jarring. The story's still, you know, great, and people who are here for, you know, Xiang and Huacheng, it's, you wait a long time, you wait till the end of the book for them to come back together and have any kind of interactions. At the same time, it is still very entertaining. It's a great book. It's a great series. I am really enjoying it. I've heard there's an anime that I definitely want to watch, but at the same time I want to read the books first, so I guess I need to read them faster so I can get onto the anime. But like or can I watch some of it up to the point that I've read? I don't know if the anime goes in the same, order as the story in the books. So I don't have a whole lot to say except that I'm really, really enjoying the series. I do want to pick up the 4th volume fairly soon. I'll probably read 1 or 2 things between this and that, but I don't know. Last I looked, there were maybe are there 8? Somebody told me there are 8, and then somebody else said, no, there's like 12 or 13 of these. So I'm like, oh, I've got a lot of reading to do then. I don't know. I need to look that up. But if you've read the series or watched the anime, let me know your thoughts. But yeah, I have some thoughts about so there's a little boy in the past who is very devoted to Xiang in his, temples and stuff, and kind of lives for him and refuses to forget him. He kind of at the end of that first ascension is like, yeah, you know what, forget me, because like it's not worth putting any faith in me at this point. And this little boy refuses. Little boy, I say, he's like, I think they think he's like 13 or 14, but this boy refuses to give up on him, and I have some thoughts or suspicions about this boy and who he is. I'm being vague in case you want to read it, or in case, and I don't want spoilers, so don't tell me. Don't tell me. But it's very well built. Like, first of all, the story is intriguing. The characters are, engaging. It's all very well built. I think all of the little clues are kind of there, which makes it fun to read if you like that kind of thing, because there are elements of mystery to everything that's happening. I definitely do not trust mooching. And I don't know if I'm supposed to or not, but I don't. And then at the end of this book, Fengshen tells Xiang, don't trust mooching, and you kind of go, well, but they've never gotten along. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, see, but I was already not trusting him, so it felt like validation in a way. But yeah, like, all this to say, I mean, for me, it's a 5-star read. These have all been relatively like high 4. Yeah, I'm always rounding it to 5 because they are usually at least 4.5 or higher, because they're entertaining and I want to keep reading them, and I really like these characters, and I even made the wallpaper on my phone some art from these. I like that they're illustrated too. They have like illustrations in the book, which is really nice. There's just, and the cover illustrations are really gorgeous too. So yeah, I don't know. I'm a fan. It ticks the boxes for me if you like that kind of thing. But yeah, if you've read it, again, let me know. If you've watched the anime, let me know. Can I start it? Should I start it? I don't even know where it's streaming, so is it something that's easy to find or get? I used to have Crunchyroll. I don't anymore, but I could always get it again if there's enough stuff on there to make it worth my while. Yeah, because I heard there's another Black Butler now, too, somewhere. If that's true, let me know, because I need to check that out as well. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Short and simple, a little bit rambly, typical Sunday fare, I think. I am going to be moderating a panel for weeknight writers, so that's at the end of May. If you go to my website, I will put the link in the description. You can go to the events page and see the stuff I'm doing. Hopefully come hang out, engage, interact. I've got a short play being produced, which probably means nothing to you if you don't live where I live. But yeah, I'll put the links in the description for that stuff. Yeah, I don't even know what I'm picking up next. I've got a lot of books, but I do not have the next one of these. So I'm going to pick from the stuff I do have, see about, I have somebody gave me a Barnes & Noble gift card, my in-laws, and I'm going to see if I can't get the next one or two from this series with that. Oh, but I do have Dan McClellan's book coming this week too, because I pre-ordered that and I think it comes out this week. So that might be my next read. And we'll see how that goes. That should be a really interesting read. So yeah, until next time, take care.